Do you think we're going to hit 76 pushing the pool parts before we hit 76 podcast episodes?
Well, this is the 76 podcast episode, so no.
Yeah, but when does this come out? When do those pushing the pools we shot yesterday come out?
That's true. Do you think we got several attempts? How many? What episode? That started on 68, though, so that's not going to be.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, so definitely podcast.
Not if I do my editing job right. We won't have that many parts.
Here's a 4-second version. Here's another 12-second clip.
Yeah.
All right. This is exciting. Do you think we remember how to podcast?
I don't know if we've ever known how to podcast. We've just kind of shown up.
That's a good point. And this is like a pop-up podcast where Maggie's in town. We're just kind of gonna see what's on our minds and see if anybody still listens, I guess, basically.
People keep asking in my comments, like saying how much they loved and they're like, when's the next podcast episode coming out?
Okay, well, let's give them a good one.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. Let us roll the intro music.
Mags and Dads, Wholesome Chaos. Mags and Dads, Wholesome Chaos.
So we're back in the original podcasting studio where it all started, and we are in our set in our chairs with a cup that has our faces on it.
Okay. And I've completely forgot that's what that is.
Yes.
Basically, we have a cup that our
We have
friend
several
Stephanie.
cups like this.
Yeah, our friend Stephanie gave it to us for Christmas, and it's a very well insulated cup that's great for coffee. That
It's a
just
great cup.
happens to have my dad and I's face on it. And I was in the car like 2 days ago drinking from it on FaceTime with my roommate Jenna, and she just stops and goes, "Is that your face on it?" And then I turned it and she was like, "Is that your dad's face on it?"
Well, and
yes,
because
it
of how
is.
the photo is wrapped, my face looks really wide.
Both of our faces are not the normal proportions that they are.
It's kind of strange. It kind of looks like a filter of some kind, or the funhouse mirror in a fun park. Well, in a fun house. Yep. So it's always a fun house when you're in town, Maggie.
No,
How do
it
you
won't
like
be
that
tomorrow.
segue?
Oh my gosh. So I'm in town because we've known for a while that my wisdom teeth have to go out. And a few weeks ago, I had this fun little moment. It was a rough week. And I went to a dentist nearby that I found online to kind of get an evaluation on my wisdom teeth to see how much it would cost to get them out, to see if I need to get them out. And they scared me so bad. I was already kind of having a rough day, ran into some people in the morning, and it was an overwhelming day already. And after this, I do one scan and they're like, actually, we need you to do another. It's going to be like $350. I was like, you really need that? And they're like, yes, we do. And so I was like, okay.
Did they need the scan or did they need the $350?
I didn't ask. I did not ask them to specify.
Okay.
But so I did that scan. And then the doctor comes in, basically shows me, he says, you have all four. You don't have space in your mouth. So you definitely need to get them out. By the way, your bottom two are very, very close to your nerves. And so when we take them out, you might be risking some paralysis where you'd still have function over your lower jaw, but you wouldn't be able to feel touch, and that could be temporary. It could be permanent. We don't know. Also, due to your skin complexion and the size of your mouth and your face, you're probably going to have 2 black eyes for 2 weeks. It's going to be $3,100, and we can do it right now. And I was like, whoa. Let's chill out. And so I was like, I can't do that right now. And I followed it up with, I'm an actress, because they were asking me, like, what do you do for a living? I was like, I'm an actress and I do work on social media. Yeah. And he follows that up with, what can I see you in? And I was like, shut up. It's not out yet. I'm working on it. And so I leave the office after I pay a good bit of money. And I get in my car and I just start crying. Aww. And I start driving because I'm supposed to go to pickleball right from here. And so I'm crying while I'm driving. And then I called you and Mom. And I was sobbing. I was saying this, and this. I was like, it felt like everything was coming to a breaking point. And I had to stop for food. So I'm like in the Cane's drive-thru. And I think you guys should remember this moment where I'm sobbing and I go, 1 second. And I roll down the window I go, can I please have a 3-piece with like a lemonade, please? And at Cane's, the Cane's I go to, it's not like you're talking to a screen. You're talking to a person that's right next to your car. They're standing in the drive-thru lane. And so it was just so obvious I was crying. And then I rolled up the window and kept crying with you guys. And then when I got to the actual thing, she handed me my lemonade and I had an empty cup and I was looking to move it. And she goes, can I throw that out for you? And I just looked at her and I was like, that's the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me.
And
apparently, I started crying some more. I was like, oh my gosh. So all that to say, when I called my parents with all this, they said, don't do that. You can come home to do it. We'll take care of you, which was very kind.
Yeah, especially if you're going through that and going, this is your reaction to the learning about the procedure. How are you going to react going through it?
Well, yeah.
And it's going to be tough and you need someone to take care of you and we want to take care of you.
I think, and I so appreciate that. And I think a big part of it was I just didn't want to do it. Like LASIK was so different than wisdom teeth is going to be, obviously, but it was still like, it took so much. It was kind of painful. It took so much energy. It took so much time out of my schedule that I had to delegate to it. Not delegate. Delegate?
Yeah, basically.
Arrange. There's a different word
accommodate.
I'm thinking of. There's another word. A lot. That's a good one. We'll go with that one.
A lot of time allotted.
I had to allot some time to the recovery. A lot of time. And again, it was an expense. And so it was just like, I just didn't want to go through it again. And I was just kind of having a tough
You're probably
time.
thinking like, okay, at least that's done. And it's like, no, we have to start another thing.
Yeah. But I'm in a much better place now, guys. I have so much peace.
Georgia.
Yeah.
No, you're going to do great. And since then, doing some more research, I'm even wondering if you actually need to get your wisdom teeth out. Probably so, but I did talk with Clayton, my nephew, your cousin, who is a dentist, orthodontist in Austin. And he said there's some controversy about that, about whether people really need them out. And if they're not hurting you or not causing problems and whether they even move teeth and all that is kind of a little bit of a...
I will say this...
controversy, as they would say in other parts of the world.
Yeah. My left wisdom tooth is out. Like it is out. My left top wisdom tooth is out. And so that has caused like some trouble and stuff. So I know for sure I need to get that one out. And I have a feeling that the right top one's going to do the same thing.
So Maggie's going to go to the same dentist who took out my wisdom teeth.
Yes.
No, not my mom's and grandfather's.
My mom just said, and his mom's.
We need to get that woman on a microphone. She's had all the funny jokes today. You could run in there and get that hooked up while we're waiting, and we could bring you into the studio. Okay, cool.
I know I'm being silly about that too. I'm sure he's a great doctor. I can't put this in there.
Well, she's concerned that he might be past his prime.
No, that's the thing is I'm sure he's great. And I also haven't seen him. Like all he is in my head is this guy who took my dad's wisdom teeth out 20 years ago.
Right.
And if you are a dentist, you're probably making bank. You can probably retire kind of early. You know what I mean?
Maybe he loves it. Maybe it's just fun for him to yank people's teeth out, do crowns, put his fingers in people's mouths.
Then I'm still very concerned. That is not like an ease thing. But no, that'll be tomorrow. So there will be a ton of content.
If you don't get a certain call.
Oh yeah, it
was supposed to be last week. So she was supposed to get her wisdom teeth out last Tuesday, a week ago, and then
I had auditioned for this show a few weeks ago. And I got a call saying they really liked me. They wanted to see me again, sent me some more sides to do. So I recorded those the morning before I got on my flight. Or no, the morning of that I got on my flight to come to Atlanta to get my wisdom teeth out the next day. And
Mom is crawling on the floor right now so that she's under the cameras. That's pretty funny. I bet you're going to be in the camera, crawling on the floor, which is even funnier.
And so I recorded those the morning before my flight, went to LAX, got on my flight. As I'm getting on my flight, I get a call from a guy on my team, and he says, the casting really liked you. They want you to do a chem read tomorrow morning.
Chemistry read For those of you not in the
Yeah,
know.
so it was someone else who was also auditioning to see if we have chemistry. And I was like, oh gosh, I am supposed to get my wisdom teeth out tomorrow. Let me see if I can move that. So I called my mom and dad, who were also on a plane in New York coming to Atlanta. And so they called the dentist. We got it moved. That happened. And then so I'm kind of, that's a big part of acting, is just like,
yeah, you need your face.
Waiting.
Waiting for calls, waiting for...
Yeah, just...
You don't have control of the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all that to say, there will be lots of content, I'm sure. If not, then what did I really get out of this experience?
No, you didn't get anything. You lost things. You lost wisdom teeth. You got a good visit. We got some push in the pool videos yesterday. That was fun. Some good hang time.
Saw my grandparents, saw my high school friends.
Yeah.
Went to my old high school.
Drove by the old house.
Drove by the old house.
Cried a lot.
Cried a lot.
Thai food. You got some Thai food out of it?
I love Thai food.
Yeah, it's always fun. Always good. All right. So we've been doing well here. Of course, Mom and I had a trip to New York last week. Always loved that. The big city. Times Square. Marriott Marquis. We saw a play, Peter Pan Goes Wrong, which was so hilarious.
Yeah.
I did not honestly expect it to be as funny and like to me personally. Because I can, when things are farcical, like overly over the top comedies, if they're not done a certain way, to me, they kind of fall flat. But this one was just, it was so funny. It was like really impactful. We were in the third row, so all the physical humor hit really hard. And I just loved it. I didn't know much about it, I guess. I saw a little bit of the trailer, and I saw the Christmas special the same company did, which I didn't enjoy as much. You know what I'm talking about?
It's been so long since I've seen them, but I do remember watching those in high school and loving them.
So they're that old, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to see it. I might be in New York next month, so I might try and see that. I'm not a huge New York fan, but I think a big reason of that is I've never been there as an adult. I've been there twice. Once for my 13th birthday with you because you had work there, so I got to tag along.
And see
Wicked, Carl, Lindsey, and Wicked. It was incredible. And then
that was a great story. And so I had talked to Richard Obracher with, who is the music conductor for in Las Vegas, friend of mine, friend of Philip's, and he knows a lot of people in Broadway. In fact, Richard produced a show on Broadway, which was amazing. The one that we saw in the movie theater. What was that called again? Bandstand.
Yeah.
Bandstand was awesome.
he did?
Yeah, he co-wrote that. He wrote all the music for that show.
That's so impressive.
How did I not know that?
That's Richard.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's amazing.
Richard, I told him we wanted to
Great
go see
musical, yeah.
something in New York, and I asked him if he had any friends on casts right now, and he said, "Oh yeah, this great friend of mine is in Wicked," and so he connected me. Or actually, I bought tickets first, and then he said, "I know someone in the cast." So we met one of the performers in the show who took us on a tour. You had no idea any of that was coming. In fact, the day before, I realized you had never seen The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, you have no context for this show that we're about to see.
I still would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have enjoyed it. But we had to find some bootlegged, uploaded version of
Yeah,
Wizard
it
of
was
Oz.
really hard to find The Wizard of Oz for some reason. We were like in the hotel room.
It was on YouTube or something. And we watched it in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And then drove to New York.
And then your phone died during the show.
Yes, my phone was really low on battery. And Maggie's like, no big deal. I'm like, yeah, it's a big deal. Because
No, it's a big deal. You don't know how big of a deal.
I wanted to get all these pictures of you on stage and backstage with Cara Lindsey and everything. And so during intermission, I had a charger with me. And so behind a trash can, I found an outlet and I literally plugged in my phone and left it there
Yeah.
during intermission. And then I just...
How have I never heard
You never heard that
part
story?
of this story
Yeah.
before?
I was like, man, Dad really doesn't want to live in the moment. He's got to have his phone. But yeah, I was 12 then.
Yeah.
Because we were there for my 13th birthday, and that was amazing. Such a good night. And then
I remember us walking out because we did the whole backstage tour, went down underneath the stage and costume shop and on stage, and you're looking out at this. And at that time, that was your dream, right? Is to be on Broadway doing
for a
musical
long time,
theater.
that was my dream.
And so, and then we left out the actor's door, the stage door, and all the while you're smiling this whole time. And as soon as we got out the door, it closed. You just burst into tears.
I did?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I remember. And I cried when your dad told me because I wasn't there, and I could have just imagined.
Oh, yeah, because it was everything I wanted.
Yeah.
I know. It was one of those few moments where as a dad, you're like, well, I nailed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we walked from there into Times Square, and you're just like still in this afterglow. And then we had to Uber back to Brown's house.
Yeah. I think what it is about New York for me is I've just never had my bearings on it because I've always, the 2 times I've been, the second time I went, I was older. I was 15, 16 in high school.
You were there really young too, because you were there when Eddie started the NSA youth program.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I went
so
to the
3
Toys R
times.
Us.
Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
You
You
had,
remember the Toys R Us?
The
Yeah.
Toys R Us was crazy.
You went and saw the Statue of Liberty
No,
with Grandma.
I went to Toys R Us.
Yeah, you
That is
did.
what I remember about that trip. There's
Yeah.
a Ferris wheel in there.
I know. I loved it. I have pictures of you on the Ferris wheel with Grandma.
I want to see those. I remember there was like a Barbie floor. And I
Yeah.
didn't even I wasn't a huge Barbie kid, but I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And now Toys R Us is shut down.
well, if you do go next
Or at
month,
least that one is.
if you do go next month, also while you're there, it'll be a beautiful time of year, springtime in New York. Go to the High Line. The High Line, Mom and I walked this with Victoria, our friend there, who came out to see me speak and then spent the whole afternoon. We went out to a great lunch and then
awesome.
she's a New Yorker. She was born, grew up in Manhattan, and this is just, she loves it there, knows all about it. Actress, speaker, amazing director, performer, just an amazing girl. Woman.
Yeah.
And so she, but she wanted to take us to do the non-touristy things. So we got out of Times Square and we went to the High Line, which is it's an old railroad, right, honey?
Yeah, it's basically a lot of the old rail lines they've converted to walking paths and gardens and just beautiful
But they're
art.
elevated over the city. So they're
Yeah,
elevated
so
rails. And instead of tearing them all down, they did this art installation project with walking trails and planting and sculpture, and it's just incredible, but it takes you off the street. And so it feels a little bit like removed from New York, but you're up in it and you see the skylines and it feels safer. It feels like it was just really pleasant, really fun. And people are
Well, it's not
out.
like a bridge though,
Yeah.
but it's just
Yeah.
all the
It's-
time.
and it was full. It was full of people though. People love it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. What I was kind of saying earlier was I think what it is about New York is since I've always been young, I've always had you guys with me. I've never had to have my bearings of it. Kind of like when you're a kid driving around in your parents' car all the time, you don't really know where things are. I mean, you kind of do, but you don't because you're not in charge of it. It's
Right.
not your responsibility.
That's why I don't know my way around Chicago, because I never drove there.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things where it just feels very scary to me. It feels very big, very. I've always said I don't think I'm tough enough for New York. I'm a pretty sensitive person. But I am really excited because so many of my friends out in LA love it. And quite a few of them are going to move there. And so.
Really?
Yeah. Like
And you have some friends who are actually on Broadway right now.
Yeah,
in shows,
that's one of the reasons
which
why I
is
want to go. Is I
crazy
have
cool.
2 friends on Broadway right now. One in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and one in Parade.
That's
So
great.
I can't wait to see them. That's gonna be
That's
so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
got a reason to go and friends to hang out with, that's so different than just kind of going on your own.
Yeah, and one of my friends in LA, he's a musician. He has a show there, like over the time that I was planning on going. So I was like, this seems.
You got to go.
That's what I'm saying. Unless I book this show, then I do not have to go,
then you can't
I have
go.
to work.
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
mean,
exciting.
yeah.
No, I mean, yes, New York's a big city, and it's good to respect it. It's good to be very careful about, like any big city, knowing where you're going, being with people. But you also have a great degree of confidence now, and like I've noticed that since every time I see you, you're more mature and you're like more I don't know. It's like assertive is maybe the right word.
Confrontational.
No,
Confident.
in a
comfortable.
situation,
I've
put it
been
this
working
way.
on being confrontational.
Well, maybe it's that, but in a situation where things are kind of like left up to whatever happens, you have no problem now stepping in and going, I got this. Let me take charge here. Let me shape this. Like the other day at Grandma and Grandpa's, we were celebrating Grandpa's 75th birthday, and Mom was leaving earlier to go back with the dogs, and it was like, should we not go? Should we go? Should we go? And you're like, no, we're staying because I want to spend time with my grandparents, and we're going to play some more games, and we're going to,
And
I was just like,
everyone's going to win.
and and we're going to have
That was
fun. And it was
amazing.
like, suddenly Maggie was the camp director of this little experience we were having.
My grandpa's 75th birthday.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Share that amazing hand that happened. That was insane.
Oh yeah. So we were playing this game called golf. It's called golf because you're going for a low number, not a high number, and you play 9 rounds. So it's like 9 holes of golf, and it's a simple game. It goes by pretty quick, but the low score wins unless you get exactly 100 points. So when you're approaching 100 or 200 or whatever, like if you get to the highest even 100, and you land on that, then you win as well.
You also win, yeah.
You also
Lowest
win.
and 100.
And so I had the low hand, and I was just getting good cards and playing it well, and like it was obvious I was going. There was no one really close to me, so everyone else, the other 3 people at this point, Maggie and Grandma and Grandpa, all decided to go high, and the last hand, the 9th hand, I was still low, and every one of them landed on 100.
So every single person
Everybody
playing
won.
That's crazy cool.
Yeah, and they play a lot, and Grandpa said that had never happened.
Yeah, that was good.
Grandma said, buy a lottery ticket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we did not.
No, we didn't buy a lottery ticket. So we've been in also.
Is this your book?
Yeah, you like it?
I didn't know you had it. Can I see it?
Uh-huh. Check it out. It's actually, if you open it up, you'll see that it's actually not my book. It's my old book. It's my last book, but it has the cover of my new book. It's a prop, Maggie. They have these in TV and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks like something
maybe
real.
I'll know next week.
Because the new book has not shipped yet.
It has not, but I think it's been printed. So we have these to do some kind of promo stuff on the new book. It's called Positive Chaos, and I'm really excited about it. Waldo is in here interviewing me about the book today. We've got all these plans in the works. At my website, danthurmon.com. If you pre-order the book, we're doing a lot of bonus stuff for people who pre-order the book. So
Yeah, if you pre-order from our website,
Yes,
you can become part of the
danthurmon.com.
launch team, and you can get access to the first 3 chapters now.
yeah, immediately. And then also you join the launch team community, and then that's like a Facebook group of everybody who's pre-ordered the book. And we're going to do all kinds of fun stuff in that group where I get to interact with you. We're going to do like a webinar together, and you can ask me personal questions and stuff. And I don't even know what we're going to do. We're going to play. We're going to have fun. We're going to create some positive chaos, Maggie.
Believe it or not, chaos can be a good thing. In Positive Chaos, Dan Thurmon helps you understand today's chaos, simplify the complex, and take confident steps forward.
Absolutely.
It's going to be, I'm excited for it. I mean, do you get the concept? The concept is chaos is all around us. Like we're definitely testing positive for chaos, but also it really is not something to be feared. And it's something you never totally get rid of because chaos and order coexist all the time. And there's patterns in everything that we do. And if you can learn to shake up your patterns, create new patterns in life, then you can really, especially today, take advantage of the forces of accelerated change and make things better faster and help people in amazing ways and create these ripple effects in life that are wonderful. And a lot of that, you don't even necessarily know exactly how it plays out. So it's exciting. And
Yeah, just like that lady who offered to take your trash. I mean,
yeah.
that little act was so impactful to you. Who knew, Because at that moment, that's exactly what you needed. You needed a simple act of kindness.
Yeah.
And now she's on a podcast and she's famous. And you're going to channel her energy into your next role in this TV show that you're going to get cast on and change some lives, you know?
We'll see.
You never know. And it have some, never mind.
All right.
I almost shared too much about the actual role.
Oh.
And your potential co-actor in this role.
Oh, yeah, no.
So we don't want to
No,
go there, right?
No,
If I book it, then we can share lots of fun stories. And if I don't, we can share the name and everyone call.
No.
Everyone call casting and ask them why they fumbled this.
I love that you have this team now. Maggie drew a diagram on our refrigerator
Yeah.
of all the different people who are now part of her team because she's got her agents, team, who are handling like publicity
Auditions.
stuff and acting and
You got to look at the chart again.
okay, right, whatever. It's like a TikTok
I have an agency and a management.
agency and management,
and
right?
they work together.
Sure.
And on each, there's like kind of a head of the team, or like for my management side, obviously my manager, and then like people under him and like different people. And on my agency side, people under her, and then people under those people. And so I usually just say names, and a lot of the times when I say names, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. So I drew them a little chart.
So now she says, go to the refrigerator and look on the left side. No, what I was going to say, like there's acting opportunities potentially. There's other opportunities
Media.
that could be media because you're going to be on a cover, a magazine cover.
Oh, I don't think we're supposed to talk about that yet.
Never mind. That's not going to happen. It could happen.
It's being pushed closer to when the movie comes out.
Oh, okay.
If that were to happen, hypothetically.
Yeah, this is pretty normal though, that movies get delayed.
Yeah.
I've heard that happen a lot. A lot of times actors have already made another movie by the time the movie that they finished comes out.
Or two or three.
Three.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not me, but
I saw an interview. I saw this thing. Brandon Fraser apparently was in Batgirl, and they made the whole movie, but it's never come out. So I don't know anything about that.
I
Has
don't
it?
either.
Has it come out?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
No.
Yeah, but he's like, yeah, nobody knows.
I've watched a few movies recently. I've been trying to take advantage of my AMC A-list, which if you don't know what AMC A-list is, this is not a plug. Well, it's kind of if you like going to see movies, AMC A-list is great. It's like $25 a month and you can see 3 movies a week. Which is great if you
have time to see movies.
If you see at least 2 movies a week, depending on where you live, like for me in LA, it pays for itself. And so I was trying to see a bunch of movies and I saw Scream 6. I had not seen Scream 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Okay,
But
you probably didn't miss a lot.
my friends and I, we watched like a little recap of those earlier ones, and I had seen the original. So I saw that. I enjoyed that. And then I saw a Knock at the Cabin Door.
Was there a lot of screaming in Scream 6?
And there was a decent amount, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Choose the name.
I saw Magic Mike.
No.
I've still never seen that. I
Any
have
of
to see
them?
that.
This is the Wholesome Chaos podcast. What are we doing? Podcast.
Well, it's funny because I saw Magic Mike with one of my friends, and it was one of those things where we had seen most of the movies out. So we were like, all right, this could be fun. And I went to go see it, and it was just such an interesting experience because it was a small theater, and everyone in the theater was like vocal about what was happening, whether it was like laughing at parts that maybe were supposed to be sexy, but it's funny sometimes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was a comedy.
It's a comedy.
Okay.
But it was my friend and I just kept looking at each other and we were like, what are we doing? What are we doing with our Thursday night? It was
That's
really
funny.
funny.
Yeah. That's
It's Channing Tatum and Selma Hayek. Is that her name?
I don't know. I only knew Channing Tatum was in it.
Yeah.
I never even saw the first one. This was like the third, right?
Yeah. I saw the first and the second
Really?
and the third.
I didn't know there was 3. Okay.
I saw him in college. I remember watching him. I think I watched him with Annie. And it was really funny because when I watched the first one, when I watched the first one, there's a actor in it who reminded me a lot of a boy I liked when I was younger. Like a lot. And so I texted him when I was watching it and I was like, oh my gosh, have you ever seen Magic Mike? Again, this was like freshman year of college.
Imagine getting that text.
And he
If you're a
said,
guy in college.
but it gets crazier because he was like, no, obviously.
Did he know you liked him?
Do you know who I mouthed?
No, I couldn't tell you. Couldn't read your mouth.
Yeah.
So never mind.
Okay.
Can you cut this part if I say it? So I texted him. He said, no, I haven't seen it. And I told him, I said, there's a guy in it who reminds me a lot of you. I can't believe I said that to him. And he goes, wait, let me watch it. And so like the next night or something, maybe it was the same night, he goes and he watches it. And I didn't tell him who. I was like, let me know who you think I'm talking about. And he guessed it right. I was talking about, I don't even remember his name. They call him like the kid in the first movie. And so that's always been like so funny to me that interaction happened. And as I was walking into the movie theater, I remembered that. And I was like, oh, I haven't talked to him in a while. And so I texted him like in the movie theater. I was like, how are you? How are your parents? How's life? And so
I'm watching your third film.
Yeah.
You're
So-
going to actually see him soon, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be in the same city.
Just friends.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So did you make it to pickleball? I want to make sure we get to the end of that story. When you went to the
When I was
dentist and you were,
crying?
when you were crying and
I did.
you made it to pickleball.
I did make it to pickleball.
Did that make you feel better?
Yes and no. No, because there was a lot of people there and like friends and like who could tell I was crying were like, talk about it. I was like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about it. But then I did. But in the actual pickleball, yeah, I felt better.
That's nice. That's
Played
really
great.
I'll bet you're getting really strong.
You would think that, but I don't know if I am getting better.
I would know if I saw you play against Aunt Wendy.
No, because there's so much that goes into that.
What do you mean?
It's hard to play with family sometimes. There's a
Oh,
lot
I
of
see.
emotional aspects of it.
I got you. Like different levels of competitiveness and just kind of like hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understood. But that's you again. Like you've got that barometer for trying to keep everybody around you mellow and cool. I think that's maybe part of your vibe.
So not confrontational.
No.
No, I wouldn't say you're confrontational. I'd say you're a leader.
You know, something I miss about having a podcast is like when you get an opinion on something, having a place to say it.
Yeah. We've had so many stories recently that we're like, oh my gosh, I wish we had a podcast this week. Because this would be so fun to talk about. What are your opinions?
I don't remember. So it's probably a good thing I didn't say them on the podcast.
I
Yeah.
think purple and blue are awesome colors. That's
Yeah, they're amazing.
very.
I like all the colors. I like Hunger Games. I'm reading Maze Runner.
I rewatch all the Hunger Games movies.
You better. They're taking them off Netflix in
Yeah,
3 days.
That's why he's watching them.
We have to watch
Yeah.
all
I
of them.
can't watch them. I can't rewatch.
Why?
They're so disturbing.
No, it's great, and Peeta's perfect.
You kept saying that.
He's perfect. I don't understand how any guys are supposed to come close when Peeta Malark exists.
His character or the performance by Josh Hutcherson? Hutchinson?
Hutcherson.
Hutcherson.
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
I saw him the other day, actually.
What?
Yeah. It was so funny.
That's random.
Me and two of my friends, we had just grabbed food and we walked to this like old vintage store that's next to it. Like every time we do that, we just go in and look. It's like very expensive, but like vintage designer. And we're looking and we're having a fun conversation. And I tend to be very oblivious. Not oblivious, unaware. I just, when I'm out, I'm not usually looking at other people. And so on my way out, I got a glimpse of him. And I was like, that guy kind of looks like Josh Hutcherson. And then I left. And once we were outside, my friend was like, bro, that was literally Josh Hutcherson. And my other friend was like, I know. And I was like, really? Like, I had the thought. But I was like, that is crazy. Because I had also just auditioned for like a movie he had booked. So like I had been thinking about him recently. And also, you know, just I'm reading Hunger Games. I'm thinking about
because you're watching it.
Thinking about PETA, not Josh. But and so it was just a really funny.
I was in Publix the other day and I was going to get some like oat milk ice cream. Mm-hmm. And as I was reaching for it, this woman was reaching for the same one. And it was Jennifer Lawrence. And it was like, oh, hey. And I let her have it.
Yeah. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, you know. She went through a lot.
Yeah. No, that was one of those things where we were like, it's only in LA.
Only in LA, yeah.
In that morning, like I believe it was Niall Horan was in our coffee shop. And
who's that?
He is a musician. He was in One Direction. And my friends and I like go to the same coffee shop a bunch. And one of our friends texted that he was there. And we all thought she was lying because sometimes we lie to each other. It's this fun little thing we do. And turns out she wasn't lying. Like, how crazy is that?
Speaking of friends who are musicians, Jenna is also going to be performing here in Atlanta.
Yes! Oh my
which is another reason for your trip. And so Maggie was initially planning to get her wisdom teeth out and then have quite a while to heal before the concert. But now because of this other audition, pushing back the surgery, there's going to be a more compressed time frame between you and between the surgery and the concert.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. I am so excited to see Jenna perform. She is she's hopping on our friend Joshua Bassett's tour for just like 5 shows or something. Because he already had an opener, but she's gonna like go before the opener and like do some. And she hasn't toured in a while, so it's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited to see her live. But yeah, I was like, I get to see Joshua and Jenna perform on the same night. It's gonna be so good. And the opener, Lindsey Lomas, is also so talented. Like I think we're all gonna go. I have to double check on that, but she's incredible.
Let me know if we need to buy tickets. I know you said it's sold out, but if I need to like pay for tickets someone else can buy or whatever.
Yeah.
But Lindsey Lomas, you showed me some of her music. And
yeah, she's great.
She's a great singer.
So that'll be a
talented.
very fun day. Hopefully I don't have 2 black eyes and no function of my jaw. That'd be a bummer.
Black eyes. I mean, yeah, you can cover that with makeup maybe, but that maybe not.
That'd hurt, right?
Not necessarily. Okay, Mom's got to go, but we're going to keep going for just a few more minutes.
Alrighty, see you guys next time.
Love you, Mom.
Bye.
Love you, honey.
Bye.
Jenna is really talented as well.
Yes,
and what's cool, see, Mom's crawling on the floor once again, waving to the cameras on her way out of the studio. This is so fun. I love the idea of an occasional podcast.
Yeah, no, I like it too.
Pop-up podcasts. It's like, we're going to randomly show up in your life and you'll notice. Sorry about that noise.
It's okay.
No, but Jenna
is really talented.
It's cool because we're going to see her get famous as we see you get famous. And then the two of you together, you're saying like you're beginning to get recognized going places as like buddies because you're in each other's content so much.
We've gotten associated a lot together. Oh my gosh, this is also so funny. When we did a push in the pool video a while ago and I was like, what am I getting Jenna for Christmas? And you said Uggs. And for some reason, the comment section was like, Jenna Ortega. And like, that just shows you the power of the internet because there were like so many comments like, how is she friends with Jenna Ortega? Like, why are they friends? Where did they meet? Are they like working on something? To the point where every now and then I like to check in on what comes up if you search like Maggie Thurmon space on TikTok or on Google. And on TikTok, if you do it, Maggie Thurmon and Jenna Ortega comes up.
Really?
Yes. And it
I'm going to try this right now.
It says like Maggie Thurmon, Jenna Ortega. I'll try and find the right ones.
Maggie Thurmon. Do you use a space for Thurmon? Space.
Maggie Thurmon and Jenna Raines dating?
Maggie Thurmon dive. Maggie Thurmon. Not Maggie Thurmon. Who's not Maggie Thurmon?
That's me. That's my spam account.
Okay. I thought so. I thought it was either you or somebody who's ripping off your videos.
Who looked exactly like me?
No, who like would post repost
gotcha,
your
gotcha.
content, but I don't recall seeing that content anywhere else. Okay. Maggie Thurmon and Jenna Ortega. So do you know Jenna Ortega?
No.
Would you like to?
I'm sure she's great.
Yeah, I'm sure she's cool. She's really funny and
Very talented.
very confident, successful, all those things.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, moving on. So the TikTok ban.
TikTok ban? It's fine.
My theory is that the TikTok ban and the big public controversy around it is to like use TikTok as a punching bag for the fact that all the other social media platforms are also gathering information very aggressively. And, they're trying to make it look like it's all TikTok's fault, but others are getting blamed, are not getting as much notice.
I thought the congressmen had very hostile tones.
They did.
And
they
were
all
very disrespectful.
They were showboating. They were just
about stuff they didn't understand. That was also the other embarrassing bit was you could tell they didn't understand what they were talking about, but they thought they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all just very disheartening to see that that's where parts of humanity are.
Yeah. And then the bill that they're passing is about like governmental controls over any platform that allows mass communication over a certain threshold. I think it's 1 million people, 1 million followers. We'll see.
We'll see. At the end of the day, it's out of our control. And
I'll just always be grateful that we were a part of the the newness of the app, when it was just developing, like before certain features even came online. Like remember doing all the captions by hand.
Yeah.
Because there was no other captioning functionality.
I still do captions by hand
I
when
know.
I'm pushing the full videos.
a
so
lot
that
of
we
work.
can have different colors for who's saying what.
Yeah, but you got to keep those captions out of the way of the auto captions, because if people have their auto captions turned on, then they've got both.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been super sweet to have gone through such a long journey with it.
But I feel like if our journey with TikTok stopped, I'd be good. Honestly.
I mean, yeah, my life wouldn't be over for sure.
I mean, I'd be grateful.
I'd be sad. But I also
Yeah.
think that we as humanity have become so accustomed to that type of entertainment that it's not like TikTok would go away and we'd be back to using social media how we did 4 years ago.
Right.
And you can already see that like Instagram's implemented TikTok-like
Sure,
things.
totally.
Snapchat has.
YouTube.
Yeah, and so I think content would just obviously shift where it was. But we've been through things like this before where it was like, oh, TikTok's going away. Everyone follow my Instagram, which like follow my Instagram. But I'm not too concerned.
I write about it, TikTok, in this book, Positive Chaos.
Good.
I tell your story and I talk about the effect that it had on our lives. And it's kind of interesting because as I see like, how will TikTok be, if TikTok is banned, like if it actually goes away completely, I can't imagine, because 150 million people in the US alone use it or more. But like how would what I wrote be perceived in hindsight? I don't think it's like, basically I just tell our story and I talk about how the fact that it had a very extreme benefit for you and your
For
journey.
so many individuals who
For so many individuals.
For people who did not have certain like who didn't have a ton of money, who
Yes.
didn't have a ton of resources or connections.
Yes.
This was a life changer.
Incredible artists,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, people who were just honest and true, like souls.
Yeah.
And people resonated with their essence. Like TikTok allowed you to like put yourself out there in the essence of you. And sometimes for some people, that's all it took. And they were instantly like validated
Yeah.
in big ways. Of course, you know, for every one of those stories, there's probably many thousands of people who tried to put themselves out there.
Oh, Simon just unplugged all the monitors.
Uh-oh. That's okay.
Is it still going? You think?
Yeah, it's still going. Simon's sneaking out. Now mom left and now our dog's leaving. Hold on. I'll let him out. But you know what I mean? It's like for the people who
Yeah, it gave an evener playing field.
right, but think about the people who tried to put themselves out there and didn't get followers and didn't get likes and maybe
What about that?
well it's a discouragement, right? Potentially.
Potentially. I think
Or-
it's all about how you.
Keep talking, I'll let the dog out.
Well, no, I can definitely see that 100% as a discouragement.
So it's just another force of our times. And like you said, however it plays out,
It plays out.
it plays out. Positive chaos, man.
Yeah. Well, this has been a fun podcast. We did a podcast. We wanted to do a podcast and we did a podcast. And I hope somebody listens to it. Yeah.
I'm going to listen to it.
I'm going to listen to it.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you listen to the podcasts? Sometimes.
Not really. It's sometimes I do when I've had space in between them, I can go back and like listen to a podcast and kind of be like, "Aw." But if I'm like listening to them as they come out, I like know what I'm gonna say, or you'll say something, I'll be like, "Oh well," and I'll start to say something in my head, and then I'll just say it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like it's just like listening to myself talk. I don't necessarily need to do that for a long time.
I love having you in the room.
Same. This is always so fun.
Yeah. I went back and listened to the last podcast we did. It was kind of like, you know, when we take a break again. And it was really sweet.
Good.
And so this is the idea. You know, we're not going to do a regular podcast because we just don't have space in our lives for that commitment. And we don't want to feel that kind of pressure. We don't think it's fair to the other things we're doing and not fair to you to kind of like put something out that doesn't get our full attention. But we'll do these pop-up podcasts whenever we can. So please hit that subscribe button and keep coming back. And we will see you soon or later sometime.
Yep. All right. Well, love you.
I love you, honey. You're amazing.
Thanks.
Incredible. And we love you too. So subscribe and have a great time until we talk to you again.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I was looking at that camera. That's okay.
We can go to that one.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
Do we know how to stop the podcast without Mom? Do we know how to stop the cameras and mic?
I think we just go over there and push some buttons.
We'll see.
I can call her. All right. Well, we'll see how this goes, everybody.